worship you for me, for all the things you've done for me, and no one can worship you for me. Lift it up. Here's my worship, all of my worship. Receive my worship, all of my worship. Here's my worship, all of my worship. Father, receive my worship, all of my worship. You are worthy, and no one can worship you for me. Somebody give him the highest praise. Somebody lift him up in this place. We worship you, Lord. We worship you, Lord. You have rescued my life. You have rescued my life. And I'm never going back. Say you have rescued my life. Say you have rescued my life. And I'm never going back. My response is hallelujah. You're my redeemer. Hallelujah. Say my response. Say hallelujah. You're my redeemer. Hallelujah. Say you have. Say, and I'm never. Say you have rescued my life. You have rescued my life. And I'm never. Say you have rescued my life. You have rescued my life. And I'm never. Hey, and my response, hallelujah. You're my redeemer. Say hallelujah. And my response, hallelujah. You're my redeemer.
At Nation Builders Academy, our team of experts are here to partner with parents to help your children build a foundation that contributes to their future educational success. We understand that children are given their best opportunity when they are allowed to learn at their own pace. Hence, at Nation Builders Academy, we offer personalized teaching with a small class size of 15 students. Each student will have fun learning with our challenging hands-on lessons and activity sheets. So if you want the best for your children, call and register at Nation Builders Academy.
All I'm saying,
Yeah.
I've helped hundreds like you to overcome their fear of driving and get their license. My name is Gwyneth. I am the owner and founder of Ultraviolet Driving School. Give us a call today. Let's help you overcome your fear of driving, parallel parking, and reversing. But don't take my word for it. Check out our testimonials and our reviews.
Nivens. Are you tired of unhealthy beverages? Are you looking for healthy fruit juices? Then try Nivens Homemade Juice. At Nivens Homemade Juice, we cater juices for birthday parties, executive meetings, restaurants, etc. WhatsApp us or check out our Facebook page.
Blessing, I lift up my chest in her. Walking on top like the best in her. Jesus is Lord and he's checking up. Hey, what a success in her. Flow in the music. Lessons are always amusing. Clocking it, look at me snoozing. God bless now, look at me moving. Blessing now, we never should see. My response is hallelujah. You're my redeemer. Hallelujah. Say my response. Hey. You're my redeemer. Come on, somebody worship, somebody worship. We worship you, Lord, we worship you. We worship you, Lord. Come on, help me sing. There is only one name. Come on, sing it out. There is only one name. Power to save. Hey. Power to save. Come on, sing it out again. There is only one name. There is only one name. Come on, lift up your voices. There
And our God, He's champion. He reigns forevermore. Hey, forevermore. Come on, sing it out. Say, our God, He's champion. He reigns forevermore. Forevermore. Say, every knee will bow down, and every tongue will confess Jesus Christ, you are Lord.
Wore myself out trying to make it through the day, getting nowhere. There had to be a better way. Then your lights came shining through my cloudy skies, took my heavy load, and you taught me how to fly. Wore myself out trying to make it through the day, getting nowhere. There had to be a better way. Then your lights came shining through my cloudy skies. You took my heavy load and you taught me how to fly. You lead me laughing in the sunshine, got me floating like a butterfly. You reinvent my point of view. Oh, you make me shine, you make me glow. Took this worn and weary soul and you made it over. worship you, God of mercy and grace. As we lift up our hands, will you meet us here? As we call on your name, will you meet us here? We have come to this place to worship you, God of mercy and grace. It is you we adore. It is you our praises are for. Only you, the heavens declare. It is you. It is you. Holy, holy is our God Almighty. Holy, holy is His name alone. Holy, 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 holy is our God Almighty. Holy, 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 holy is His name alone. As we lift up our hands, as we call on your name, will you meet in this place by your mercy and grace? As we lift up our hands, as we call on your name, will you meet in this place by your mercy and grace? It is you we adore. It is you our praises are for. Only you, the heavens declare. It is you. It is you. It is you we adore. We adore. It's you. The praises are for. Only you. Oh, the heavens declare. It is you. 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 Hallelujah.
Good evening and welcome back. Welcome to night 2. Thank you to our worship team. At this juncture, we will have a short video from one of our young, passionate entrepreneur, Delisa Haynes.
Hello everyone, my name is Delisa Haynes. I'm 28 years old and I am the owner of Delisa's Workshop. I inherited this business on the 1st of April 2021. Now you might ask, how did I arrive at the name Delisa's Workshop? Just as the business itself is an inheritance, I inherited the name since customers previously called the shop Workshop. So I was adding my name to it just to keep the history. Now, I was influenced to take over this business after I resigned from my government job in 2021. I was a senior communications officer with the government, and I decided I wanted to do something different. I attended the Women's Investment Webinar that was held in October of that year, and that motivated me to venture into some kind of business, but I didn't know what to do. And then I was approached by some family members and was told about the shop, and I said maybe I'll take a chance on that. Ever since I started it, it has been nothing short of challenges, but I have been going through every day to the learning experience. What basically on the go there, I sell groceries, snacks, beverages, and I'm looking to expand in the near future to do more online transactions. We offer services to key persons that would include delivery, packing, hampers, and things like that. There are a lot of things that I plan to do for the shop in the near future, but with God's help, I expect to venture into that very soon.
Hello and welcome to night two of our Women's Investment Webinar 2022. The theme for this evening's session is Discovering Your Potential, and you will be hearing from four phenomenal women as we converse in a panel discussion. Namely, they are Vanessa Thompson, a project manager and counseling psychologist with close to 30 years combined experience. She has a Master of Arts degree in counseling psychology, a postgraduate diploma in developmental studies, and a Bachelor's of Science degree in communications. Vanessa is most passionate about working directly with the underprivileged, especially children, youths, and women. Denise Pearson, the country's director of Rubis, with over 42 years of experience, which spans the financial, aviation, and oil and gas sectors. The holder of a degree in finance and an ACCA graduate. Karen Asano, a banker for the past 30 years and currently serves as a manager, the holder of a bachelor's degree in business management, graduating with a distinction, a master's of science degree in financial management also. Her life's goal is to inspire others to increase their knowledge in the management of personal finance and in being prepared to seize opportunities for wealth creation. Deborah Hudson, an educator by profession for 28 years and more. Her many certifications include a master's in education, literacy studies, and a bachelor's degree in education. She has a passion for the creative and performing arts. Last but not least, our moderators, Samantha Edwards, yours truly, and Imani Mackenzie. Panelists, welcome. I'm quite sure that after night's one episode, our viewers have tuned in with much anticipation of being empowered. So let's get right into it. Some housekeeping: there will be a question and answer segment at the end, so viewers, feel free to post your questions in the chat as they come to mind. And to start us off, as an icebreaker, in keeping with our theme, ladies, share with us some talents or gifts that are unique to you, that you possess. Deborah, would you like to start us off this evening?
Evening, fellow panelists and our viewing audience. It is an honor to share God would have placed deep within us. To deal with the question, James 1:17 tells us that every gift is from God. We all have different talents and God-given gifts, but they're all important and can be used for God's kingdom. The gift of teaching and leadership is one of two things that I can mention tonight that the Lord would have blessed me. I believe I have the ability to simplify the complex and cause persons to understand, to expand on their interests, and push them to do better. And that's also leadership. I've also been blessed with the talent of dancing and, surprisingly, cooking. I can cook a good curry, amongst other things.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, audience. It's indeed a pleasure to be participating in this Women's Investment webinar. Like my sister Deborah, I fully embrace James 1:17 and believe God has blessed me with desirable and beneficial gifts. And they're quite numerous. And reflecting on those gifts and talents and potential and the opportunities that they've provided for me to engage in income generating activities, not only mainstream, but as well side income generating activities, I can think about three areas. One of them is establishing systems, processes, and procedures to manage complex programs and projects. Secondly, caring and nurturing others. And thirdly, having an opportunity mindset that identifies positives even in the face of severe challenges.
To have been selected to speak at this forum, and I must say thanks to the leadership for this great initiative of empowering women. I trust that my contributions will add value and that you, the audience, would benefit from the time spent listening to us. Thanks for choosing to spend your time with us this evening. And what gifts do I bring? I will speak of one. I love accounts. In fact, I would say I have a passion for it. I get excited figuring out the numbers as they tell the story behind the recorded activities. I've nurtured this gift since my secondary school days, and it has served me well. And what is unique to me, I can, in a quiet and yet assertive way, bring leadership to my team. Thank you.
You ladies aren't only beautiful, but you are gifted and talented. But I'm thinking, what if there is that one woman who's listening and is thinking to herself that I'm not as gifted as they are? What would you say to her,
Thank you,
Vanessa?
Samantha, for that question. And I really believe this question is extremely relevant to this evening's discussion, as I'm sure most, if not all of us, are familiar with women like this in our sphere of influence. Permit me to respond, first of all, to the latter part of the question first. I believe lack of validation, encouragement, and the inability of parents and significant others to identify and support development of gifts and talents are some of the factors that cause women to think, I have no gifts or even potential to develop gifts and talents. What I can say this evening is I was once that woman who thought she had no gifts and absolutely no luck. But thank God that that was just the beginning of my story. You know, I'm often told that I look like a bishop's girl, but I completed my secondary education at Christchurch Secondary with passes in just two subjects. I could have stopped there, but instead, with God's help, my failure was used as a pivot to successfully complete graduate as well as postgraduate studies, and not just complete them, but complete them with honors. Currently, my mainstream income comes from the areas that I developed academically in international development as well as psychology. I believe that every woman has been blessed with several gifts, talents, and potentials. To the woman who thinks she has none, I would say pay careful attention to the things that you are interested in, the things you're passionate about, the things that you do well and that make you different from others. Some gifts and talents lead us to the office, while others lead us to places like the kitchen, the farm, or the workshop. Once you identify those gifts and talents, make every effort to develop them by accessing training to improve your knowledge and skills and to be the best in your field. I would also add that it's never too late to start developing your gifts and talents. So, to that woman out there, stop putting it off and start now.
Good evening, all, and I want to count this as a privilege to be on this platform with you ladies and those in the audience. Welcome. I believe that the Lord gives according to our ability, and the question about whether there's that lady in the audience who does not believe that she has talent or potential, she should not believe that. Apart from what Vanessa said about low self esteem, lack of confidence, lack of validation, little or no recognition, for me, I want to zero in on the wrong company. We know an old saying that says, show me your company and I will tell you who you are. I will encourage each lady here tonight to surround yourself with the right persons, persons who can push you, who can give you a little kick, who can encourage you to spot that talent or that potential or that gift inside of you that you haven't seen yourself. When you surround yourself by the right people, believe me, you will eventually be told what people can see inside of you until you believe it for yourself. So I would want to encourage each and every one of us, each and every one of you in the audience, do not ever believe that you do not possess that talent or that potential. Trust God to show it to you. Trust God to bring you around the right people who can teach you and show you what is inside of you.
Experience. First is the busyness of life, taking care of the home and family, working and studying simultaneously, and just dealing with the demands of life. And I would like to caution about those little foxes that eat away at time, the scrolling through social media, the following television series like an addiction, and spending hours on stuff that adds no value. Second is the negative influences of significant people in my life. My father believed in me, and he empowered me to be bold. He stressed on being educated because that is one thing that cannot be taken away. Then, as I lived my life, I became associated with people who, to say the least, impacted me negatively. And the sad thing is, I believe the negatives allowed it to overshadow what my father said of me and buried my gifts. So do not let the demands of life or the opinions of others bury your gift. Thank you.
It is an honor to listen to you talented, gifted ladies. But as I sit here, I'm thinking that many times people see the glory, but they don't know the backstory, the struggles. When we invest in ourselves, we face plenty of challenges, ranging from naysayers to financial difficulties. Share some of your challenges.
So, for my personal story, I want to begin by saying I love to sell. I have been selling as a schoolgirl, before school, after school. I sold mangoes, vegetables, whatever was in season, and my mother could have put her hands on, I had to sell. So, ladies, we usually come up with bright ideas for business. And one day I had an idea. Of course, I had my main job at work, where I work at the bank, and I came up with this idea that students who graduate at CPC and University of Guyana, etc., they're not recognized for their performance. So I thought that I can sell gift items that will recognize a student. So, like I said, I came up with this idea. I got the graduation teddy bears saying congrats grad. I got chocolates and many items. And I decided to pack my car and travel to the graduation for CPC at the culture center. When I got to the culture center, I froze with fear. I couldn't even open the trunk. All the items were in the vehicle and I could not come up with how am I going to sell in front of all these people. So ladies, sometimes you may have an idea deep inside and you want to launch out, but you have fear gripping you. Let me tell you how I overcame that fear. I waited for the next graduation, which was the University of Guyana graduation held in November of the said year. But this time around, I walked with two persons so that I wouldn't feel that fear like I felt in at CPC. And that helped me to overcome that fear and to move ahead with my bright idea. So ladies, please know that if you cannot do it alone, have company to go and start with you.
Wow. Failure would have been seen as my struggle. But studying, I would like to start by saying studying is an investment in self. And it is often neglected because we women tend to put others first. But the failure that I was referring to would have been viewed as a struggle at that time. But looking back, it humbled me. It made me stronger and more prepared for what is happening now. I would have failed the last two final exams for my ACCA qualifications more times than I have fingers to count. Oh, I went through secondary school, the University of Guyana, and my ACCA studies with flying colors. But you know what? That made me impatient with my children when they would bring home grades that were not so good. Then I tasted failure. It was very bitter. But on hindsight, it was essential to rein in my pride. By the time I passed those two final exams, I could empathize and be an encouragement to others who are struggling with failure. I believe the Lord requires excellence, but not at the expense of pride. So keep studying. It is an essential investment to be successful in this environment. Whatever you are pursuing, just keep at it until you conquer it. Thank you.
I want to add to my sisters and our stories resemble or they are similar. Overcoming my challenges from being a junior teacher or serving milk and biscuit at the school to where I am today. It would certainly take an entire episode to share all of that. But notwithstanding the struggles or the challenges, I would want to encourage us tonight. I would want to encourage that woman out there who might be in a similar position like myself and my other sisters. What helped me to overcome several of my challenges or all of my challenges was I chose to persevere and to set aside my pride and shame, just like Denise said. I also had a very good support system. Those who believed in me, and because they believed in me, they pushed me. I also thrive on my faith and believe my belief in God. That is my number one, and it still is my number one tool for overcoming any challenge. He makes the difference anytime and every time.
Iron sharpens iron. Ladies, share with us how you go about mentoring other women to pursue their gifts, be it investment in self or in that business venture they're thinking about pursuing.
I believe that once you know, you have knowledge of how things can work, your responsibility would be to teach others. And I believe that saying, iron sharpens iron. Women need to be encouraged and to know of other journeys so that they themselves can learn and they can be successful from learning from others. So, how do I mentor or how do I sharpen other young people? What I do, I tell stories. I tell my own stories from experience. I tell stories from my exposure as a banker for over 30 years and working in 10 of 12 branches where I was exposed to various cultures. So I tell stories of success, stories of mistakes, stories of how to build capital, stories of how the Lord grants you wisdom. And secondly, I would share articles that are impacting, that are encouraging, idea filled. I would share that once I come across and I know there are persons who are looking up to me to share and to encourage or to um, share from experience. I would share those articles with them. I also share information on opportunities that are in Guyana, especially in this oil rich find that we have now. And I also give financial advice on personal finance, especially because I am of the belief that if you're going to start a business, be it small or big, if you do not have control over your personal finances, there is no way you will be successful in a business. You have to get the personal finances right first, and then you will be able to succeed in business.
As a mentor, as an iron sharpener, I would like to see myself as constantly investing in what I call the human capital. Because I believe when we invest in the human capital, it has a substantial impact on the individual's earning, enabling them to realize their potential as productive members of society. So, as an educator, I have always been pushing those around me to study their craft. Like Karen, I use my own life. Get I push people to get to the highest point in terms of qualifications. Don't settle. For example, I have a very good teacher friend. She has always had this fear of furthering her studies because she would have taken a longer time to exit the Cyril Potter College of Education. So university was a no-no for her. And so her words was always, study this study thing is not for me. So what I did, because I know that she has potential, so I took her, literally took her to the university, got the form, we filled those forms out. I did not only fill out the forms with her, but what I did, I walked her through everything that I would have gone through, even introducing her to the different lecturers who would have helped me along the way. I would want to see that as side by side coaching. So as a mentor and investing in human capital, I walk alongside the persons that I push into increasing, or the persons that I push to make their potentials great and become salary earning increase. So we have to walk alongside our mentees. Sorry, walk alongside them. Don't just tell them, but walk alongside them and coach them.
Hearing those points, Karen and Deborah, and if I may add to them, you know, personally as well as professionally, I have had the opportunity, the joy of mentoring women in developing their talents and potential into income generating ventures as well. And I too try to use my own life and the lessons that I've learned along the way in terms of saving and investment. But in addition to that, you know, I often encourage like self employed women entrepreneurs to take the time to develop a unique product or service that addresses a need. I have found in my experience that sometimes a lot of entrepreneurs get into a particular business because they see other persons doing it, you know, without taking the time that the market needs and how what can give them the edge in terms of their delivery of that particular product and service. You know, thinking of an example, I recall guiding a young woman who cultivates and sells plants as a side income. You know, I coached her into accessing finance to expand her business by improving the technology she was using to cultivate the plants, as well as offering more products and services. And I also encourage her to develop a business card that she can share with prospective clients. At a personal level, I have provided career mentorship mainly to young women interested in pursuing careers similar to mine or even others. I have shared areas that they can focus on developing by accessing either skills or academic training. Sometimes I also encourage them to volunteer with a relevant organization or an individual, such just so they can gain valuable work experience. Because a lot of times when young people are looking for jobs, you know, that is a challenge for them, not having the work experience to get them in the door. So sometimes volunteering helps to give you that relevant work experience. I also encourage young women, especially, to use their initial job opportunity. It may not be the ideal one, but see it as a launching pad to your future career, to where you want to go. What lessons can you learn along the way that you can apply when you arrive at that ideal career? And lastly, I try to say to them, you know, don't settle for one area of income, but constantly explore and develop other areas of income generation.
You ladies have provoked my mind and hopefully the minds of the audience. At this moment, I would like to encourage the audience to think of questions you would like to ask the panelists, as we will have a question and answer shortly after the discussion. Panelists, I'm here and the word innovative came to mind. Share with us how can we be innovative and have other streams of income apart from our mainstream stream of income, whether it be from our career or a passion of ours. Deborah?
Wow. Wonderful question. Thank you for that one, Imani. How can we generate other streams of income? Exodus 4:2 tells us, and the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? The answer to God's question was that Moses had a shepherd's rod in his hand. Throughout the Bible, we can see that God had a wonderful habit of using whatever a person's possess if that person would simply yield it to God. So the first thing is that we need to yield. So for some ideas as an educator, for those who are in my sphere of passion or um, job, I would want to encourage you, even though you're a teacher, you can do something like a nanny care provide night service, especially for the early childhood specialist teachers. You could provide a night care where persons can access that assistance. For example, me, I may want to go out to have dinner or something, but no one to keep my child. But I know a very good teacher who is already capable of dealing with children and has a startup or a little job as a nanny care. So we can use that. That is one that I would want to encourage you, and one idea. Another idea for the skilled teachers in our midst, especially those who might be teaching foods. You have the potential to create healthy dishes for persons with special dietary habits. We can find those persons and help them to create diet sheets and support systems that will help them to eat right. And you can sell those. You can prepare healthy lunches for children. Busy parents who may not have the time to wake up very early to prepare lunches, we can come and order lunches from you just to cover the week's worth of the children picking up a small package to take to school for lunch. And because you understand something about home economics and you understand how dietary should be for our children, that would be a good launching pad that you can do to prepare healthy lunches for parents who are extremely busy. There are teachers who are skilled with doing nails and doing makeup, right? Like my friend, I have a friend, she's a teacher, that's her mainstream job, but her side job is doing nails, and my nails are always well kept because of her. I also would want to say, even the I have a nurse friend. I have a nurse friend who has my face looking glowing every time I have a special appointment. She does makeup on the side. And so those are some of the things. So you don't have to lock yourselves off because you already have a clientele. The clientele would be your parents, the clientele would be your colleagues, the clientele would be those that you work with. So, like Moses, God wants us to use whatever we have in our hands. So, I want to encourage you tonight.
So we have to remember that if you have a main job, you have to be careful about what kind of financial activity you're involved in to bring in additional income. Some companies have strict rules as to what you can get involved in. In fact, some may even require that you have written approval before you engage in any kind of activity that will bring in funds. It's called conflict of interest. If you, for instance, are a loan officer and you want to prepare financial statements for customers or for anybody, that will not be allowed, especially if you're going to be paid for it. It's not allowed. However, if the pandemic would have taught us anything over the last 2 years, is that we need to have additional income coming in. And some persons would have lost jobs during that period or lost hours of work, and they found ideas that they use to bring in additional income. So I will tell you what I see from where I work. I know of a young lady who makes cupcakes to the point where companies would order her cupcakes. And she doesn't make a simple looking cupcake. She makes a cupcake that has maybe Skittles and makes it look all fancy so that it's attractive. And she puts her ideas to it, and it's attractive to people and they order. I know of another lady who does installation of security cameras because we're all security conscious now. She would have done information technology at the University of Guyana. I know of someone who sells phone credit. I know of another person who does catering, does cooking for birthdays, for wakes, etc. Ladies, we have no excuse. Maybe you don't have a main job. You might be home, you might be a student. You can get involved in something that brings in an income. Those of us who are working, you can do with the additional income. You can get involved in an activity that brings in income. So I'm encouraging all of you. There is need for that additional income, I'm sure, and I would encourage you to go after your ideas.
Wow.
Really interesting hearing Deborah and Karen's perspectives on other streams of income. And, as women, I believe that we can identify numerous innovative streams of income if we pay close attention to the things we love to do and the things we're good at. And, this is just what I was
Yeah.
hearing coming out from what my sisters were sharing. If I can use two examples from my own life professionally, so writing and paying attention to details are two of my strong areas of competence. And I have been repeatedly asked to edit documents and occasionally editing those documents, doing proofreading, provided another stream of income for me. Besides that stream of income, I've also been asked to provide training services, and that as well, besides my official streams of income, provided additional income for me as well.
Nice.
And I'm sure you're all quickened on the inside, and the fire that was going
Yeah.
out has been rekindled. Those of you who love
Yes.
accounts can now engage with your sisters to prepare those financial documents for presentation to the bank.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can prepare the financial statements and taxes for those businesses that will be birthed out of the ideas shared on this investment webinar. They are and will be the establishment of many small and medium-sized businesses, providing ancillary services for the major oil entities. This would create opportunities to offer bookkeeping and data entry services. You can prepare the annual tax returns to the individuals and the businesses. You can also offer consultancy services to your clients to ensure compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements. The opportunities are many. Invest in yourself, be the best at what you can offer, and be ready. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, ladies, for such an insightful discourse. As promised, we will be entertaining questions from our viewers, and I have our first question. Obtaining financing for a startup business is very difficult, especially for women. What can one do to improve access to financing from the banking and other sectors?
So I think I can take that one.
Yes, please.
It's in finance from the bank. Um, Many times, we have the basic requirements that the bank would ask for, like identification, being passport or your ID card, things like your TIN certificate, or if you don't have that, your TIN is stated on your driver's license, proof of address. Those are the basic job letter if you have. Um, Apart from all of that, I was once a loan officer, and it takes more than just the basic documents to arrive at a decision whether to lend or not. For a woman who wants to get into business and needs that financing, for me, I would want to ask what kind of history you have. Maybe you're coming as a first time to get into the business, you need finance for that, so you have no history at all. Well, then it means I will have to assess that based on what you're coming with. I would want to know how much, in the bank we said, how much skin you have in the game. What are you willing to put up? Because some people want to come for 100% financing, and most times almost all of the financial institutions, they do not lend 100%. Some people, from experience, you will hear people say, well, I studied, that's a part of my investment, I paid for my studies. It's much more than that. If you want to go into a cooking business, at least show the bank, well, look, my receipt, I bought the pots, I bought the table, I bought the boxes. I just need the capital to go get the ingredients, etc., etc. So I don't think it's that difficult. Sometimes the word out there, you hear words from persons that it's always difficult to get to the bank. So I want to zero in on the history. Maybe you have an account already with a bank, you have no deposit, you're not saving, you keep all your money at home. The bank doesn't have proof that you really have that kind of discipline if you're keeping that money at home. I'm not saying that you should not keep your money at home, but it would be good if the bank can see that you may have started a business before and to show the bank that you have the discipline. If you're making 500,000 a month, at least 100,000 is passing through the bank, if not all. At least some amount is passing through on a consistent basis. So those are things that I would look at um, if someone approaches me as a loan officer for a loan. I don't know if I answer that the way the person wants it to be answered, but I'm open to be questioned again, or if the person need any clarification.
Karen,
If I
I have
can
a
jump
follow up. You
in.
mentioned,
Sorry.
okay, hold that thought, Vanessa. Skin on, you have some skin,
Skin
and
in the
I
game.
gather you are going, yes, in terms of equity. Can you give us an idea of what percentage most banks look for, even if it's not ballpark?
Right. So skin in the game, well, you call it right, the equity, what you have to put. So if you, we can say the venture is 100%, most banks, I would think, would look at a minimum of around 25% of the total cost. They can ask for more if they find that the venture is risky. So a risky venture might be to go mining for diamonds or for gold. So something like that is risky, but the returns are high if you're successful. But a venture like that, the bank may very well ask for more than 25%. They may ask for 50%.
Thank you. Vanessa, you can proceed.
Yeah, if I can just add to Karen's contribution, mainly from the commercial bank perspective, there are also lots of opportunities to access financing. And, I take it that this is a very topical area because it came up this morning in the entrepreneurship workshop as well. But there are lots of opportunities, not only from the commercial banks, but from the private sector, as well as the public sector. And in some instances, even from international development programs. And if I can just briefly touch on some of the requirements, for example, having your business registered, having making sure that you have both GRA and NIS compliances. And what is interesting, I believe, especially for the loans that are offered in the public sector, is that they're offered at a reduced interest rate, as well as their collateral guarantee that is offered so that persons are able, especially small businesses, are able to access these loans. In addition to the loans, there's, because we're talking about financing, there are also grants, and then there are also opportunities for persons to get financing for sponsorship as well. So just wanted to add those.
Thank you, Vanessa. And I have a follow up for you also. Opportunities for sponsorship. Based on your experience, can you share some places in Guyana where small business owners can go to obtain such sponsorship?
Certainly, Samantha. So again, looking back at the public sector as well as some private sector organizations, and here I'm talking about organizations, for example, like the Small Business Bureau. Some private businesses as well offer sponsorship. And sponsorship is quite a big area now because there's this push in Guyana with our oil fine to make sure that we market products and services not only locally, but regionally and internationally. So when we're talking about sponsorship, we're talking about being able to get financing as a small business so that you can go overseas or attend local expos and shows to promote your product and services so that it can bring in additional funds both for you as a business, but also so that it can contribute to further development of Guyana's economy.
Thank you. I have a question which comes on the heels of someone mentioned NIS or GRE. The question is, where can I go to get free services like filling up of forms, applying a GRE, opening an account for starting up my business if I can't really read or know how to talk well? I don't know if any one of you are aware of such services, or maybe this now is an income generating idea.
Yes, that would be an income generating
I
idea
think
for
the
me.
person said free.
So, yes.
Okay, I see this here as an opportunity for teachers.
Finalists.
Yes, if they can probably start a business, it may be a small fee at the start, or it can be some pro bono to get noticed, like initial clients. And with time, as you build, there will be others who can actually pay for the service. So
Yes.
if any of you, if anything comes to mind, feel free to share so that we
Well,
can
I know of
answer
a
that
small
question.
business. I know of a small
Go right
business that
ahead, sorry.
offers, yeah, I know of a small business that offers financial advice, opening of accounts, even helping the client with internet banking. I think the person assists with getting tin certificates, etc. So if I remember, I think you said the person wants that kind of service free. I don't know of any person or business that does it for free, but small fee, and it can be done. And I don't know the contact information out of my head, but I'm sure we can share it when I put my hands on it.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I have another question, and this comes to all you ladies who are professionals. How essential is it for an entrepreneur to pursue tertiary education even though the business is growing and they are benefiting for a sort of on the job training experience? So they're asking if it's important to still pursue tertiary education if their business is thriving. What are your thoughts?
Education is always essential. That gives you that edge above the other person. So you must follow through with your education. You can never settle and say, I've arrived at whatever I have now. And there's always new things happening, different things happening. Even if you're doing a particular business, the methodology will change. And except you read and you follow through. You know, I was talking about this scrolling through social media. Social media is it's very good. You can use it to your advantage. So if you cook, your favorite on your social media should be the cook channels. If you clean, they got channels that deals with cleaning that can make your work so easy because all of these tips and these cleaning supplies that you have to, you can't just stop. You can't just
Standing
stop.
and hold it.
Things are improving, and the only way you can follow through and be at the have that edge is to keep studying. Thank you.
Okay,
If
It's
I
thank
like,
can
you,
add,
Debbie.
Samantha,
if I can add,
earlier I
Okay,
mentioned,
Deborah, you go.
sometimes development of
All
our
right.
gifts and talents takes us to the office. Other times it takes us to the field. It takes us to the kitchen, different places. So I believe depending on the gift, the talent that you're looking to develop, and the type of business that you're looking to operate, it may require university studies. And when we're talking about university, if we talk about tertiary in general, there are other places like the Technical Institute, for example, that you can go and develop your skills and talent to run your business. So I just wanted to add that.
yes,
Thank
and
you.
I want to
Deborah, you can
also
proceed.
follow up. Yes, right away, I'm thinking of Timothy, First Timothy 1:6. Paul recognized that he had this gift, and it's like the person with the business. Your business is thriving, you're already involved. That is the natural part of the gift. It's on your DNA. This is what you're doing, your talent, your profession, your potential, and it's looking good. But the flip side to that is in addition to Denise, what she's saying, in order to stay on top of your game, you have to keep feeding that gift. You have to keep nurturing. That's in education. We have the two concepts: nature, nurture. Nature is what is already happening. It's a part of you. It's natural. It's your God-given ability you're thriving on. But then if you fail to nurture that gift, if you fail to not sharpen, not fan into a flame that business, that sharpening of your craft, then you are, you're heading down a road where the market competition can overtake, and before you know it, your business can be overrun by somebody else who is sharpening and who's fanning into flame. So studying is never injurious to what we do in life. It is in fact what we should keep doing. Things are changing, things are developing, and we have to remain on top of our game. So I say to you, yes, go as far as you can in terms of education and watch your business continue to grow.
Thank you. Any other
Okay,
comments?
ladies.
Go right ahead.
So I have a question for you, ladies. Besides mentorship, what are some other resources or opportunities women can access to develop their gifts, talents, or potentials?
So if I can start with that particular one, and then I guess my sisters can follow on. So there are numerous areas that women in particular can benefit from in terms of developing their gifts and their talents. We spoke about access to finance, which is a big one, but there are also areas like training, for example. And here we're talking about both technical as well as soft skills training. When you're operating a business, not everyone knows, for example, how to manage their finances, how to keep records. So there's training that's available in areas like that. There's also soft skills training. For example, if someone wants to enhance their public speaking skills, if it's important to the type of business that they're operating and they need support in enhancing their public speaking skills, if they need support in how to make a business pitch, they're invited to a particular forum and they're asked to present on their product, their service, how to make that business pitch in such a way that investors will become interested in your business and want to contribute to it. So there are training opportunities. Secondly, there are also, and I mentioned this briefly just now, there are also opportunities for you to promote and market your product and service outside of the expos that I mentioned earlier, both locally, regionally, and internationally. Coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, there are several online marketplaces that have been developed where small businesses can promote and market their products and services. So, looking for those opportunities, there are quite a few of them locally, and I know that the Small Business Bureau is in the process of starting one of those marketplaces as well. But looking for those online marketplaces, some of them are free, others incur a small cost. But looking for those places where you can promote and market your business. This is another way of you developing your gifts and talents by bringing customers to the business, and being able to expand your business in that way. And looking for the opportunities too when you can market your products and services locally, regionally, and internationally. And then there's also business coaching. And this is where owners of new businesses are connected with owners of more established businesses. And this is so they can access some handholding and different types of support in a wide range of areas. Because when you're starting a new business, there are lots of questions, how do I fill this particular form? Do I need this particular license? If I'm thinking about export, how do I prepare my product for the export market? So connecting new business owners with those who are more established so that they can coach them in some of these areas. I want to mention one other area that is an emerging concept in Guyana, and this is the whole concept of establishing business support networks. So, this is where a small business can become a member of a business support network. And some of the benefits of being a part of that network include some of the very things that we have just mentioned. So, training, you get support from the network to develop your product, to brand your product, and also that network is able to connect you to markets where you can sell your product and service. So I'll stop there for now.
Well said. I like your flow. I have another question from the audience. Can the speakers pivot to personal finance? It is said that you first budget your income, then adapt your expenditure to align. What is the perspective of the speakers on personal budgeting as a young person versus married couple? So I gather they want some advice or your take on budgeting, especially when you're single as compared to when you have a partner as married.
I can talk
Okay,
about the personal
I'll
budgeting.
take that.
Okay.
I'll take that one. I am hoping that this single person has intentions of getting married eventually. But even if not, you must set yourself some goals. So not every time you get your paycheck, you're going to buy a pair of shoes, or you buy a dress, or whatever. Those things would pass. So when you get your paycheck, it's good to start with how much you have, and saving should be an expense. So just like how you're gonna go and buy that shoe and that thing, that money that you do is like how much dresses and shoes you're gonna have. So when you have enough, start saving. So I agree with the statement that you need to get your income in place first, then you decide how you're gonna spend. And even when you decide how you're gonna spend, put in priorities because some things you can definitely do without. So that's it's necessary, whether single or married. When you're married now, it's supposed to be the husband and wife paycheck put in together, and still you have your savings as an expense because you want to build your house, you want to buy a car, you got to send your children to private schools, you got to get to university free. I don't know if you're going to be free by time then. So you need to do things together. Thank you. I think Karen was
I
about
was
to say
going to,
something.
yes. For the personal finance, you have to be able to manage that closely. If I always say, if you don't budget, you may be spending monies that you didn't even earn. You might be catering for somebody else's money, and it's called living above your means. So once you budget and you can be good at it and decide, well, I don't need to budget anymore. I don't believe in that. You have to know where your money is going, or else that money would be disappearing and you can't even account for it. All right, so personal finance is critical. If you don't get it right and you go into marriage with that
Same
kind
thing.
of haphazard kind of management of your finance, you will take it into marriage. I don't believe there is one formula to be used when you're married. In banking, I've seen couples bear all to each other and then turn up one day and see every cent disappear from their account. All right. So you have to know your partner. It calls for a lot of discussions, and you as a couple will know what works for you. So you can't look at neighbor Jane and neighbor John and use their formula for you. All right. Some women like to be independent where their finances are concerned. Some men also want to be independent. Some people keep money for themselves. Some people have joint savings. You have to work out what's best for you. At the end of the day, it's one goal. As a couple, you're working towards one goal. But personally, I believe there should be still that individual saving that you, because if you want to buy a perfume, you must be able to buy that perfume for yourself. Or if you want to do something for somebody, once it's not injurious to the couple or the relationship, you should be able to do so. So I'll say again, it cannot be one formula working for every couple, because I've seen some stories working at the bank. I've seen some stories, one person decides that they have more power than the other and they clean out the account, or they take whenever they want without any accountability. So that's my take on it.
If I can add, personally, listening to both Denise and Karen share, I'm going to be open here with my own experience. As a single person, I can recall my mother taking me and showing me how to open my personal savings. This, I think I was in early teens, and she took me to NBS. So I became very independent, taking my monies. That is before we have the card where you would plug in and you withdraw. We go into NBS and you put every month or as you get monies from aunts or whoever, and you would save. So I would want to say, as a single person, it is very important to start to discipline yourself in terms of saving. You have to prioritize what it is what are your goals? Where are you going to next? What in a year, in 2 years, am I going to get married in 3 years? And so I start to budget so that you can acquire. So I would want to encourage, as a single person, that is where your discipline begins, so that when you get into marriage and you have a partner, you understand the discipline of how you're going to budget, how you're prioritizing and going. When you get into marriage, to me, it's a whole different ballgame. I don't like this you have and I have and then we have. I believe when we become one, we become one. And finance would have been a challenge for lots of couples. But glory be to God. I can say glory be to God, because I have not had that experience in terms of you have and I have. We went in, I had my bit, my husband had his, but look what happened. He started to work out of town. He was in Essequibo, I think, at that time. And I needed to transact business on his behalf or on our behalf. But to access the monies from his account to put with mine posed a problem. We actually lost money, because when I went to the bank, they said because I'm not the holder, I have to now pay some money. There was a cost attached with me accessing that money. So after that experience, my husband decided, look, we're going to join this thing together. And so for years, we don't have, you have, and I have. I still have my little thing, and I don't know. In marriages, it's a trust, it's relationship. And I think this came as a result, the freedom we have with finance is as a result of our giving. We have never, ever taken what the Lord would have said to us in terms of bringing your tithe. You have to learn from there as a single person and even as a married person. Start giving to the Lord as He would have commanded. And trust me, some of the financial issues that you have, you won't experience it. That might be probably taking the question off. But I felt that at this time I needed to mention tithing, giving to the Lord is important, is imperative if your finances are going to be blessed, if your finances are going to stretch, if you're going to not have this experience of you have, I have, and we. But when you get into a marriage, it is a team. And as I would always say to my husband, even if I bring 10 and you bring the 90, that's the only way we're going to get the 100. So I would want to encourage you, save now so that when you go into your marriage, you're going with your 10, your 50, your 90, and then that's how we get the 100.
Yes.
Vanessa, were you going to comment before I ask?
I'm just here agreeing with my sisters, but yes,
Okay.
I believe that I believe it's important, individually for you to learn proper financial management so that you take that not only into your marriage, but so that you can pass those values on to your children.
Children.
So, like for example, I've always saved. I remember as a child, saving in a little jam bottle and digging up the ground and burying that bottle. So it started from there, and then very, very early in my life, I opened a bank account. And from my recollection, before all of my children, before they were 5 years old, I opened bank accounts for them as well. So I certainly believe that if you don't practice proper financial management as a single person, and you go into marriage, it's great to hear Deborah's testimony, but I believe that a lot of financial challenges that are experienced in marriage, you know, they occur because persons come into marriage with poor financial management practices.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. We are approaching our ad break. Viewers, don't be shy. Our panelists are here this evening, ready and raring to answer your questions. So I think this may be our final question before our break, but let's see how it goes. In what seems like never having money, how can I pursue my dream of owning and managing my own business? Do have a degree in communications from the University of Guyana. The viewer, how can I pursue my dream of owning and managing? Uh,
So
how
if I
do
can
and
start,
there's yes.
yeah. So again, I'm not sure. The question does not state which type of business the person is interested in establishing. But we have mentioned lots of opportunities that are available to help persons to start up their own business. One of the things that I wanted to mention is, with the number of opportunities that are available there, we talked about access to finance, we talked about training, we talk about some of the partnerships that are happening, and even we're addressing a global audience. There are also opportunities for women to come back here and establish businesses, invest in Guyana, invest in developing their talents, their gifts and potential here through, for example, through Go Invest. So not sure what type of business opportunity this particular person is asking about, but there are quite a number of opportunities. What I have found is that a lot of women are not aware of these opportunities, and because of this, they're not tapping into it. There are some women as well, they're not confident enough to go after some of these opportunities. We have mentioned earlier some of the challenges that we have experienced as women along the way, along this journey. So if it is that you're not too sure, how do I develop this business idea? How do I develop a business plan, for example, for starters? There are organizations that are offering training in developing the business plan. So you can have a clearer picture of exactly what you want to do as part of this business. So you can take your idea and work on it to develop that business plan so you have a clear understanding of how you move from point A, point B to point C. You can also talk to somebody else who is involved in business, who
Business.
can guide you along the way
Yeah.
in terms of the initial steps that you need to take to establish that business. For me, the important thing is making that first step. A lot of times, for whatever reason, we're afraid to make that first step in start getting the business started. And that first step could be getting additional information on how you move the process forward. So, to that person, I would encourage them to make the first step, access one of the organizations that we have mentioned, and get the information that you need in terms of how do you start that business. Once you have that information, you can start working on starting your own business.
If I may piggyback on a point I heard Vanessa making in terms of speaking with other persons, in my head right away, I'm thinking, listening to the question, I want to say power of the pact. Power of the pack. What do I mean, power of the pack? There are other women, there are other persons who would have ventured out, who would have started just the same way you are thinking about. Yes, finances, you might think you don't have the finance, but piggybacking on Vanessa's point, find other women and who where you can form a community of collaborators, I would want to say. And out of this community of collaborators, that's where you have the power. And a quote comes to mind from International Women's Day, I think it's 2018. It says, when women support each other, incredible things happen. So to that person, you can go to these other women where ideas are now shared, where women, through research, you do your research and you spot the need on the market. What is the business you want to start? You have the degree in communication, so that's a good thing because you already have a skill there of how to communicate. So communicate with other women, find this collaboration. And from night one, last night, I remember the two sisters. There you already have a team that you can speak with, women that you can speak with, the sisters in business, the carbon and the cave. They didn't just pop out of the air and started their business. And look at them today. They did not just stay in their corner, Shanika Carbon doing her thing and the sister doing her thing, but they now collaborated. They formed a team, a bond, power of the pact. And in doing that, their businesses are now thriving. So I would want to encourage you to not just sit with the degree or just sit and thinking, how can I do this? Find other persons and align yourself with those persons and collaborate, and you'll get an idea how to go forward.
Thank you, ladies. Now it's time for an ad break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At Nation Builders Academy, our team of experts are here to partner with parents to help your children build a foundation that contributes to their future educational success. We understand that children are given their best opportunity when they are allowed to learn at their own pace. Hence, at Nation Builders Academy, we offer personalized teaching with a small class size of 15 students. Each student will have fun learning with our challenging hands-on lessons and activity sheets. So if you want the best for your children, call and register at Nation Builders Academy.
All I'm saying.
I've helped hundreds like you to overcome their fear of driving and get their license. My name is Gwyneth. I am the owner and founder of Ultraviolet Driving School. Give us a call today. Let's help you overcome your fear of driving, parallel parking, and reversing. But don't take my word for it. Check out our testimonials and our reviews.
Nivens. Are you tired of unhealthy beverages? Are you looking for healthy fruit juices? Then try Nivens Homemade Juice. At Nivens Homemade Juice, we cater juices for birthday parties, executive meetings, restaurants, etc. WhatsApp us or check out our Facebook page.
Blessing, I lift up my chest in her. Walking on top like the best in her. Jesus is Lord and he's checking up. Hey, what a success in her. Flow in the music. Lessons are always amusing. Clocking it, look at me snoozing. God bless now, look at me moving. Blessing, now we never should.
Welcome back. Now, before we return to our panelists, we will have a video of another entrepreneur followed by a poem. The poem was aired last evening, but based on numerous requests to watch it another time, we will take a brief moment and relook at it. Sit back, relax.
Good evening, everyone, members of the WM panel. A warm greetings to everyone. My name is Oriala Semple, or Ozumela. I'm the proud owner of Ozumela Arts and Craft Empire. I must say, from the last webinar, it has prompted me to do so much that I never thought that I could have done. And there were ones that has inspired me, like Sister Bristol, and saying from where she started to where she is today. Then came the pandemic, but God has kept us through it all. There are challenges that throw at you in life, but then you just have to hold forth and stay prayerful. My role in Arts and Craft Empire is basically jewelry. I make jewelry with beads, you name it, shells, I do it. Leather, I also do bags with jute rope, and household stuff I do also. I'm always willing to help, and my ears is open to critics, because at the end of the day, I'm still learning, and I'm grateful for every customer and every person that I come into contact with. I'm always happy when they leave a proud customer. So I just want to say thanks for all my supporters who have been supporting me from day one, like Sister Jackman, Orta, and Sister Kim and others. I must say thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can contact me on phone by 644-1831 and also on WhatsApp. You can get me there. Thanks for the support.
She looks like the colored girl in the ring.
Her smile is simply exhilarating. cracking the sky like the dawn's early light.
She illuminates the room bright.
He wears upon her the garment of praise. She models her wisdom in the marketplace.
She ascends with the birds as the morning breaks,
and gives of her heart for her family's sake.
She looks like
a dancing dove gliding through the air.
She skips between the raindrops until worries disappear.
She captures the sun rays with the palm of her hand.
And she takes what she has for the purchase of land.
Virtue is value, then she is a queen among the jewels.
Blessed they call her, her strength is their fuel.
Covers her pain with a blanket of clouds. They can't see past the rain. She makes them so proud.
I told you, I think I know her.
Brilliant, strength, beauty,
creativity, fierceness, and finesse.
Faithful and considerate, loyal, lovely, godly.
I do know her.
She looks like you.
She looks like me.
You are entrusted with treasure.
We are the treasure.
Entrusted with treasures. Welcome back. Imani, you have some questions for us?
Yes. So earlier in the presentation, sister Sister Deborah, you were spoke about, not only telling your mentee what to do, but walking them along that path. And Karen, you would have spoken about, the first time you opened your van, you had so much fear, but later on for the UG graduation, you grabbed two other persons and, you went there and got the job done. So when I heard that, I sisterhood came to mind, supporting each other came to mind, women supporting each other came to mind. So when we're talking investment, when we're talking business, we also need to think that women need to support each other. So tell me how impactful that would have been on your life, or rather the importance of having women support each other. And I know that Deborah would have touched on this just before we went to the advert. So I would like to hear from you ladies now.
Okay, so I'm going to go right off the bat there so I can follow up on my thoughts because I wanted to expound more on this concept, a community of collaborators, and the benefits that we can gain from being a part of a community of collaborators. And I heard Ingrid Bristol last night making mention of giving examples of how she was able to benefit and became stronger and better at what she's doing right now because of the same sisterhood, because of collaboration, because of teaming up with persons. We can benefit. For myself, I would have benefited from so many sisters coming alongside me and helping me along. And if I can back up on the mentee that I spoke about earlier, today that mentee is a degree holder because of the connection, because of our collaboration and the support that she would have received. And I could have only done that because I would have received that from other persons as a young person growing up. In church, I received lots of my support from sisters. There were times, especially when it was coming to my time to be married, I had a sister who supported me along the way, Sandra Daniels Hart. She was like an older sibling with me and encouraged me and taught me how to conduct myself as a young person becoming married, a young person now starting out in a profession to teach. And so she walked alongside me. I benefited from that. Courage was developed in me. Confidence, my level of confidence was boosted when you have this community of sisters, this collaborative community. Your courage is developed, your confidence, the level of your confidence is boosted. If you're in business, your business expand. Um, your expansion in your business, you see a lot of expansion. Friendship is developed from that collaboration and that sisterhood because you gain experiences, you share ideas. Persons may be going through stuff, and because of this sisterhood, this community of collaborators, your friendship, you develop friendship. And this is fundamental to me, to human beings, because it hinge on your happiness. And for women, happiness is an essential part of a balanced life. And so we also can experience healing. I would have benefited from sharing right here on the panel. Many of you would attest to that. I would have, collaborated with Vanessa and Karen, and more so now, Karen helped me along the way. Now I'm not only just a homeowner, but I'm also I'm what they call me, the landlady. And so collaborating with Karen and speaking with Karen and gaining experience of how she went about doing it, I am now benefiting from that. So women supporting each other, we can experience healing. Research would have shown that women have a phenomenal heart to heal, sharing their experiences with each other. It facilitates healing, becoming a force to be reckoned with. That's another one. As we collaborate with each other, as we support each other, we become a force to be reckoned with. We gain so much strength. And if I can echo the words of Serena Williams, when she says every woman's success, I think it is, should be an inspiration to the other. We are strongest when we cheer each other on. So I would have been cheered on, and that would have caused me to become and still becoming the person I am today.
So I will take a little slant. Women need to support each other. Those of us who are in business, we can support that business, and don't expect. In Guyana we say frico. You pay for what you pay the price. Some people, when they have a business and you have friends, the friends think that they should be treated differently, so they want huge discount, or they want it free. But let it be that person in business to decide to tell you whether they will give you a discount or even free. But don't demand that woman to give you that product or whatever service she's offering free of cost. So we can provide our support in that way. Support the business. You know about it, support. You can assist that woman in advertising. And here is hoping that the women in the audience, you have a little idea. You don't know how to go out there and get the knowledge out about your business. We as women can help with supporting. We can put it on Facebook for you. There are a lot of platforms now, like Vanessa said. You can have these marketplaces that can advertise your product. So we also can, I think on WhatsApp you have that 24-hour, we can put it up there. Of course, make sure
Status.
your product is nice and nicely packaged. It looks nice and attractive, and we can help in that way to help advertise your product. We can also provide feedback. If it's not nice, we can tell you. If you're selling something and it's too sweet, we can give you that feedback. And as business, as if you're in business, you have to be open for any kind of feedback. You'll have to sift it out, whether indeed you need to make a change, or whether you need to leave it like that and get a second opinion or something like that. But be open to feedback. And women, we can. You don't look at another somebody in business, see that they're going wrong, see that their
And
product
like,
is not competitive, and you don't tell that person that, you know what, across the street is 10 times lower than yours, something like that. So you provide that kind of feedback to that woman.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Time is quickly running down, and I have one last question before handing back over to Samantha. This one is a bit touchy, but it needs to be addressed. What would you tell a woman to change her perception on gender roles? More specifically, that only a man can lead businesses.
I'll take
I will
that.
jump in first.
Yes,
Um,
go ahead.
and then I know my ladies will jump in there.
Thir-
Proverbs
30 seconds each.
31. Yeah, Proverbs 31 is like the anthem for ladies. Ladies, this particular woman in the Bible, she did trading. She did real estate. She planted vineyard. I mean, last year's women's webinar pointed out so many ladies in the Bible. So if we're to believe today that we're still women and should not be in business, I think we need to go way back where it all began.
Okay, I'll go next. And I would like to say that there's a whole shift in the landscape. I mean, gone are the days when men used to do everything. I mean, I must say that we do it better than them most times. We still need them,
Yes.
but we do it better. No, but we women in this current environment, the current environment that we're in promotes women. You know, so we have to be ready. You know, we have to be ready, and we have to make sure that you prove yourself. You, that your whole attitude, the way you're sharpening yourself, that it will be unconscionable for them to choose you when they have to choose. You know, so to me, I
Yeah.
think just prepare yourself and be ready. And when the time comes, you'll be called upon, you will step up and you do well. Thank you.
I would want to say to that woman, this is not about equality and equity and the man and the woman. You have to know who you are. Know what is entrusted inside of you, what your treasure is, and keep that as your focus. If you were called, because God would have given all of us gifts, all of us potentials and talents. Only He knows why He would have packaged us that way. So my thing is, do not look to see if it should be a man or not a man. Respect each other's role. Respect the role of the man. Understand your role as a woman, and you wouldn't get in the way of anybody, and you will not feel as though you're in any competition, because what He would have entrusted in us, the individual, that person, that is what we, only you can do it. So for me, I would not focus on whether it's a man's job or a woman's job. Once God would have gifted me like that to do that, I have on my blinders, because we need each other, whether male or female, so that we all can win and the kingdom of God at the end of the day can be glorified. So, woman, you stay focused on what your gift is, continue to sharpen it, and move forward and do your part.
Awesome.
Amen.
So we are about to close. And before we do, I will give each of you at least 2 minutes to share final nuggets on areas that may have touched you or you're passionate about, whether it be finance or leadership or mentorship, anything that we would have shared here this evening. Share it as your closing thoughts before we wrap up. 2 minutes max.
Okay,
So, if I could
I will.
start,
Yes,
I would
Lynette.
like to say that in my experience, I believe that discovering your potential is wrapped up in having a personal relationship with God. God
Yes.
is the giver of the gifts and the talents, and He knows exactly how they will evolve in our lives for the fulfillment of His purpose. Reflecting on the development of my second career. And for that career, I studied in Jamaica. And it wasn't easy. That whole journey started, I believe, in February 2010 when Bishop preached a message entitled Your Finest Hour. Though it was 12 years ago, that message is quite relevant to today's theme and to this webinar and the discussion we are having this evening, because it urged congregants to consider how we would respond when required by God to give an account for the resources He has deposited in us. That message propelled me to develop that second career and the gifts and talents that God had placed in me. At the time, I was in what you would probably consider an ideal job in international development, but I could not silence the passion, that God had placed in me as a child and that progressively intensified over the years. Studying in Jamaica was really tough for me, not only for me, but for my immediate family. And because I had to leave my job, I sold my car. And at various points, I remember my family relinquishing other assets so they can assist in putting me through school. Many times when I left Guyana, I had no clue where my fees were coming from, accommodation, or anything that I had to cover while I was there. I recall stretching soup with water just to be able to have something to eat. I'm saying all of that to say this, did I wonder if I was in purpose? Did I question God? Did I wonder if I was doing the right thing? More times than I can count. I did. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm a person who like to plan. I always have a plan A, B, C, D, and I can go down the line. But in this instance, my only plan was to obey God and go. I'm saying all of that to say that I can share testimony after testimony of how God helped me and brought me through that period of my life. When you know you're in purpose, and when you're in purpose, God keeps you.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that to say to that woman who's not sure what to do, how the monies will come, where you need to go, how you will do it. Just listen to the voice of God. Be obedient, and He will guide you and provide for you every step along the way as He did for me. Thank you.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added, would be my closing remark. I would want to start from there because my entire life is about seeking God. Those who know me know where I started from. Not a trained teacher, serving milk and biscuit, and I continue to move on up that ladder. Seeking God is the greatest thing and the most important thing that you can do. And I would want to say, seek God. It is in the seek. All these things will be added. Get to that low place. Get to that place of prayer. Get to that place of communing with God and putting it out there, letting Him know. And so you will see God move your life from point A to point B. Like I said earlier, if I am to sit here to say where I came from and what God would have done for myself, it would take us a whole episode. And there are times when I liken my own life onto Sister Ingrid Bristol. The startup is so humbling. And so if you're out there and you're like that, seek God, seek Him first, seek His righteousness, seek His kingdom, and you will see God move you, serving milk and biscuit to children, to standing before those children, seeing their lives transform, being blessed with a husband that honors me, respects me. All of these things can be as a result of seeking God, moving through university, not once, not twice, and doing it with excellence and still going, pushing forward. And God would have moved me in the Ministry of Education even further. And so seek ye first There is no harm in seeking God. It is in the seek.
Amen. Yes.
Amen. Thank you. I would like to pull it all together and say that motherhood and entrepreneurship, we should strike a balance. We need to make sure in all of this getting and striving and succeeding that we make sure our children grow up in a safe space. So ensure you find safe space for your children. Make sure your family is priority in all your decision making. Ensure the family is priority. So that's how I would close out. Thanks.
All right. Good night again. Ladies, it has been really a phenomenal period here with you. I was in the workshop this morning. Very, very good. I learned sometimes you think you know it all. Well, I don't feel so, but some people. But this morning session with Charlene and Aisha, it was mind blowing to get all that information, and we didn't take a dime from anyone. I know a lot of you were on it. I think we had over 70 persons, so I would have gained. My closing remarks. I recall I said my story, a part of my story about loving to sell. I sold mangoes and I love to read. When I sold those mangoes, more than once, I raised my head from reading a book, and all I can see is that slime from the cow's mouth and the mangoes walking away. And those things, those experiences taught me. At one time, I hated my childhood. I didn't know why we had to work so hard. It was not like the other children that you meet at school. We knew about getting up early in the morning before daybreak, going to bag dams, or you have to go to border market to sell, etc. But I look back today and I'm thankful because, I always say, because of that experience, I cannot punish. I wouldn't have any luck. And until today, I still love selling. To the ladies out there, I recall one time, several years ago in my career, one young man told me around Easter time, Karen, you have kites to sell? I mean, he wanted to make it a joke because, I always had something to sell. So he thought when it's Easter, I probably got kites. And he was trying to make it a joke. And then he said, one day I know you will own an empire. I don't have that empire yet. But, you know, having that additional income is important to me. And women out there, if you're a housewife, nothing is wrong with that. The kingdom needs the additional income. Some people believe, well, I'm earning enough and I'm comfortable. But I'm sure if Sister Adele comes to you and say, can you contribute to Celebration Day, or we have a program going, you don't have to sit down and go to that your mainstream income alone. You have other streams of income. So, ladies, I know this is a women investments webinar. I hope by next year we'll have more ladies testifying about businesses that they
Yes.
would have opened. If you have one, look for another. If you have two businesses already, there is an opportunity for a third one. My mother left this country just 2 days ago or so, and she said the amount of international people, I don't want to call the race, the amount of persons she saw on the plane that are not Guyanese, she was alarmed. It means that people are coming here and taking up every opportunity possible. We now can travel to UK visa free. Obviously they saw something. I don't think it would have been like that if oil wasn't in this country. There's no way I believe that the UK government would have allowed us as Guyanese to go there without a visa. It means that lots are happening right around us, and we need to capitalize on it.
Seize the
If you have,
opportunity.
because like I said, you have three, you can go and keep increasing. Collaborate where you need to collaborate. I spoke about how I was fearful. Pull alongside other ladies who you see they may very well just have a lot of time on their hand. Just pull them along.
Amen.
So that's my 2 pence. Thank you, ladies.
Thank Thank you, ladies. Panelists, I feel like you are poured out like a drink offering this evening. We are close to the end. Thank you so much. Three highlights I would like to leave with you, our viewers, and they are: we all have potential. Pay attention to your passion. That is the thing you love, and turn those passions into income generating means. The second point I noted: as we attempt to invest in ourselves and businesses, there will always be challenges, but we must persevere. Challenges can be fear, lack of finance, the cares of life, whatever it is to you. Persevere. And finally, don't walk alone. Collaborate. Get that sister, get that brother if needs be, and network. Draw strength from each other. Now, Karen mentioned the workshop we had earlier today, and it the themes of those workshops were the creative and performing arts and entrepreneurship. For those of you who missed it, the main point that I jotted from the creative and performing arts workshop was the importance of documenting your work. This will ensure that you leave a legacy, that your legacy lives on when you would have gone. So make sure whatever you're in, whether it's music or dance, document whatever you do. And for the entrepreneurship, activate your entrepreneurial mindset. Steps, and also it was steps to starting up a business were also shared. Advice about how to choose and align yourself with your passion were also shared. Just a few in case if you missed it. Viewers, see you tomorrow evening for our final chapter of Women's Investment Webinar 2022. The best was most certainly saved for last. We will be hearing from Minister Marcia Walker and two beautiful moderators, Jubilante Cutting and Abigail Fraser. Make it a date and don't be late. God bless you.
Thank you.
At Nation Builders Academy, our team of experts are here to partner with parents to help your children build a foundation that contributes. At Nation Builders Academy, our team of experts are here to partner with parents to help your children build a foundation that contributes to their future educational success. We understand that Children are given their best opportunity when they are allowed to learn at their own pace. Hence, at Nation Builders Academy, we offer personalized teaching with a small class size of 15 students. Each student will have fun learning with our challenging hands-on lessons and activity sheets. So if you want the best for your children, call and register at Nation Builders Academy.
I've helped hundreds like you to overcome their fear of driving and get their license. My name is Gwyneth. I am the owner and founder of Ultraviolet Driving School. Give us a call today. Let's help you overcome your fear of driving, parallel parking, and reversing. But don't take my word for it. Check out our testimonials and our reviews.
Nivens. Are you tired of unhealthy beverages? Are you looking for healthy fruit juices? Then try Nivens Homemade Juice. At Nivens Homemade Juice, we cater juices for birthday parties, executive meetings, restaurants, etc. WhatsApp us or check out our Facebook page.